Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday morning. Welcome to the Biz Chat with Lisa. Today, my guest is LeAnn Lyon. I will introduce her momentarily. We're very happy that you are here and joining us. This is a place where we talk about business, real strategies, and real conversations that help you grow. And today, well, first of all, this episode is brought to you by Perfect Virtual Assistants, where we help entrepreneurs and professionals create space, buy back their time, and get the support they need to grow. Our highly skilled Filipino virtual assistants start at just a fraction of what you will pay locally, and you can finally stop doing all the things and start focusing on only what you can do.
Yes.
So now, today, I have an incredible guest joining me. She is a new author. Look behind, Go and Grow Beyond, Grow and Go Beyond. She's an author, speaker, real estate investor, and actually so much more than that. Like, honestly, she's got so many things going on. She helps professionals and business owners build wealth and legacy through private money and real estate-backed investing. We're going to get into that. Her book, Grow and Grow Beyond. I'm saying it backwards, aren't I?
No.
Grow and Go Beyond.
You got it.
Is no fluff, no jargon roadmap. And it's for anyone who is ready to grow their income and their impact beyond their paycheck. Please welcome LeAnn. Thank you for joining me. And also my new friend.
Aw.
Because we met recently.
We did.
About a month ago. And we've spent some time.
We have. In fact, the very first meeting we set up that we were going to do this.
Yes, we met at an AGC meeting.
Right.
A networking meeting.
Yep.
Networking. It's all about networking.
And then we met at another event 1 week later.
Yep.
And then, so
in commercial real estate we met at. We ran into each other.
And then we set up a time to get together in person. So yeah, it's been quite fun.
And LeAnn just has her fingers in so many different things. So, but first of all, her book just came out, so we want to talk about your book. Aww. So tell us about your book. Tell us what inspired you to buy or to write this book, and where did it all come from?
Well, I'm just going to dive right in there. So I was 6 years old. I know that sounds like a really terrible beginning. When I was about 6 years old, I told the librarian that I was going to write a book. Now, at the time, I had a, folded up, staple, a couple pieces of paper. But I told her I was going to write a book, and I've never forgotten that. And Lisa, we didn't have social media when we were 6.
We did not.
Nobody was following me around with a camera. Nobody captured the moment. It's all in here that I remember that moment so clearly my whole life. So in college, I'm like, I'm going to write the great American novel. And a couple of times I started a little this or a little that, or I had an idea. A couple of years ago, it came more strongly that it was time to write a book. And so I started gritting down, like, what's it going to be about? I'm going to figure this out. And then this year in 2026, I woke up at 2:00 in the morning with the first chapter written about a book I didn't even know I was going to write.
Okay. That's amazing. And before you talk about the book specifically, I want to talk about how you came to the subject and your background, because your background led you to this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Your background.
So much of my background. In fact, I do cover this kind of in the first, well, not kind of, fairly in depth in the first part of the book, because it comes all the way back from being a child of parents who, bless them, built 3 houses, rehabbed a couple of more. I had sawdust in my hair as a child. And when I became an adult, I became a teacher. I love educating people, but that was only for a season. I went into sales. In 2020, when, things changed, a friend approached me and said, you'd be a great real estate agent. And I thought, what else do I have to do? I'm a learner. 90 hours later, 5 tests later, I had my license. Started, working in the residential real estate world for a couple years. Didn't love it. There were aspects I loved of it. I do enjoy looking at houses and thinking about possibilities and that part of it. But there were just parts that just weren't for me. So I put my license on hold. Why? because I'd pretty much done so much work and I'd already sold my own house. I can keep my license for the rest of my life and not lose it.
Absolutely. For those of you who don't know, yes, you can have a broker hold your license.
Yep. So that's what I do. And so every year, I got to get done with those credits this year. You have to do certain things and that's fine. But last year, a friend of mine invited me to lunch at a business conference. I went only to have lunch with her. But as a result, I discovered and learned about private money lending for the very first time, and that private money lenders love to work, well, many of them, with private money brokers who bring them the clients.
Right.
And I love to connect people.
The connector.
I'm a connector.
Yeah. So that's a whole different world of real estate investing.
Totally different.
And I'm going to say most realtors don't even know what we're talking about.
Right. A
A
lot of real estate investors. Yeah, a lot of real estate investors don't know what we're talking about.
That's true. Because most investors don't really do much. But, there's a lot of wannabes. But yeah, so let's talk about that. Or do you want to, let's either go into the book or which way do you want to go? Let's talk about your book. Let's talk about this because you wrote this book and part of what you're doing is you're trying to make a difference through. And so, I said it in the intro, but let's really talk about it. So values-driven impact housing and business purpose, non-owner occupied real estate backed projects. Those are a lot of words together that a lot of people might not. Okay, so let's explain it.
Okay. So as this download of the first chapter happened, like I said, 2 a.m. and I'm like, that's a good one, God. I like that idea. I'll think about that tomorrow.
No.
And no, that wasn't going to happen. So, 20 minutes later, I'm up down in my office, grabbed my phone, started dictating exactly what I had heard. But it was interesting. And I had to put my glasses back on because, we have to wear our glasses to read now. And as I was dictating it, it just kept evolving. I've heard other authors say this, that especially John Bevere, who's an author I read a lot of, he said he doesn't know 30% of what he writes. That as he reads the book later, 30% of it, he's like, I don't remember saying that. And I have chills right now because I'm sure that I am absolutely positive there are some things in here that just came through. And one of them I found the other day was on page 7. Oh, I might cry. By the way, when you called me an author before, I did a little bit too. I was like, actually, it happened.
Happy to do that for you.
Page 7, I wrote this paragraph. I said, I'm particularly interested in these projects, meaning, when people buy houses to provide housing for those less fortunate. And so I laid out some ways that could be it. Then I said, I'm particularly interested in these projects because I have a passion for helping people earn incomes using their gifts and talents. I believe that we are here for a purpose given to us before we were born. When we discover that purpose and step into it, we live our best life. And from there, I was like, okay. And as I met more and more real estate investors, their hearts are so big, some of them, right?
Absolutely. No question about it.
And so I was like, well, why do you invest into Section 8 housing? Well, I grew up in it. Why do you invest in sober housing? Because I came through it.
Oh, wow.
Those are, and not everybody has to go through something. And I share a story in here that's pretty precious to me as to, where my heart goes and where I'm, where I want to serve in the world and who I want to help in the world and why, all the details. And it goes back to when I was in Yellow Pages, believe it or not.
Okay.
I don't want to give the whole story away, but
give the whole story away.
I was given, dozens of businesses that I had to handle, that I had to reach out, connect with, check in with, ideally upsell, right? Because that's your job as a sales rep. Make sure that they re-sign, hopefully upsell. And 3 of the businesses that I was assigned, their category was escort.
Interesting.
Not plumber, not lawyer, not snowmobile repairman, which I met all those people too, and they're great. But no, their titles were escort. 2 of them just said, just renew it. They wouldn't even talk to me. But the third one, because I invited all 3 of them to have a conversation, the third one decided she would meet me for lunch. She wanted me to pay to meet her for lunch. But we did meet up. I didn't pay her to meet for lunch. I did buy lunch. And we had a conversation that just broke my heart. And so that's, I cover a little bit more about that story in here.
So, well, let's talk about how, because I know you have talked about, or through our private conversations, about how organizations can use a money broker, real estate, and how they can invest and use that money for their church, for their organization. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So again, as I wrote the book, and I'm thinking, okay, yes, I'm going to write it for real estate investors, help them understand that private money can provide money to them without looking at their debt to income ratio. Boom. That's a big deal. Okay. Many investors are like, can I squeak out one more, mortgage out of my debt to income ratio? And that's hard. You don't have to.
Very hard.
You can use private money to do that, and I can connect you to the right fit. But there are other groups. There's business groups, let's say Lions, Rotary, Chambers, that are full of business people. And oftentimes you're like, where do I go next? And there we go. Grow and go beyond. Where do I go next in my business? I've accumulated a certain amount, but how do I grow it? And then I think at that point, a lot of owners also are like, and how do I have impact or legacy because of what I'm doing? And so that group, along with, and I would love to get in front of faith groups, and a lot of faith groups now have business groups within their organization, within their churches as well. So if I can speak to business groups and churches, that'd be great. Because again, they might not ever think that you could purchase a house at a good discount because it's not maybe livable. Right. By the way, you can't buy those with traditional mortgages either if they're not livable. Rehab it, whether they pay somebody else to rehab it or the church does it. I mean, you have to work with the lender on exactly how that's going to work out, and then sell it a few months later, sometimes for tens of thousands of dollars. What? So, I thought of this and I thought, oh, certainly other people have thought about this, but I'm not sure. But I do lay it out in this book is like, this is another way that, fundraising can actually happen. Is it without risk? No, absolutely not. If you've watched any show, that one wall that they go through and suddenly all the money disappears, right? Termites, or well, not in Minnesota, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, you have to be smart on the buy. You make your money on the buy.
Very smart on the buy, correct.
Yes. Okay, so for those we should have said that I should have asked this question first, but for those of you for those people who are watching who don't know, what's private money?
Private money. Okay, great question. So there are lots of organizations out there, pension funds, lots of different types of funds. They have lots of money. I have a TRA, which is a Teacher Retirement Association fund. I think I'm probably in line to get like $25 a month out of it when I retire because I was only a teacher for 5 years. But they have to hold that money stable. They can't just put it into the stock market because if we have a bunch of teachers retiring, which by the way, we did after about 2021, they have to be able to pay those teachers. So they have to put their money into something relatively stable. And real estate traditionally has, we know the exception, but traditionally real estate is the most stable. It doesn't have to go up. It just has to stay stable.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of organizations like that. Insurance companies also, they have to have the money available when they have to do the payouts. So a lot of these people, these organizations want to lend to real estate because they know that they can get it back or that it'll stay stable. So the estimate is about $430 billion is waiting to be poured into real estate backed deals.
How much? How many billion?
430, almost, let's see, hundreds, thousands, millions, billion, half a trillion, almost $500 billion.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So what that means basically is that if you're interested in real estate investing, you don't necessarily need to use your own money. It's other people's money.
Yes.
So that's where LeAnn comes in, because she is a private money broker.
Broker. Yes.
So she basically will match you up with somebody who is willing to invest in your project.
Mm-hmm. And in this book, I really focus on the normal investments, right? The fix and flip, the buy and hold rental, maybe the Airbnb rental, the traditional things that pretty much your neighbor might be involved in and you don't even know about it.
Mm-hmm.
However, private money is also available for larger projects. Yes, they can help out with hotels, RV parks, with multifamily. Multifamily means there's more than 4 units. It's considered residential if it's a single duplex, triplex, or fourplex. That's
so there's monies for commercial as well.
Everything. Yep.
Everything
that is real estate based. Car wash, yes. Gas station, yes. Real estate based. Coffee shop, probably not, because they're probably renting the space in a mall.
Oh, of course.
But the mall, yes.
Okay, so is there anything else that you'd like to share about your book? And do you want to touch on Joy Minders?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So like I said, LeAnn does more than just a couple of things. We haven't even mentioned one of, I don't know if you call it passion. I believe you do, right? Your other company.
Absolutely.
Joy
Minders. One thing I'll say in the book is chapter 5 is about the cautions, the guardrails, the things you need to know. Don't go into this blindly just because you think it sounds like a great idea. It is possibly a great idea, but know the risks. Understand that even serve. Okay, we didn't really define the whole thing, but values-driven impact housing is wonderful. It's needed. There's such a need for it, and understand that you're going to. There's costs to it as well. I saw a panel, a couple of guys who do Section 8 housing, love it. First question, have you seen a dead body? Both of them said yes. So know that your heart can handle, right? Know that your heart can handle what it is that who you're going to serve. Because if you are serving people who are coming out of some sort of chemical addiction or are coming out of some sort of an abusive relationship or whatever the case is, understand that there's costs beyond the just providing a place for them to lay their head. But it's a valuable thing to do.
Oh, I love that.
So Joyminder. Long version or short version? I don't know how time we have.
Well, probably we have about 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, when I was a teacher, I loved sharing quotes. When I retired as a teacher, at 29 in 1999, I got my HTML certification because I've always been nerdy that way. And the first website that I created for myself was called joyminder.com. The idea of reminding people to have joy. I wanted to create a site where there would just be joyful things happening, joyful quotes and just people things that would inspire. We didn't have the technology back then to do what was in my heart to create. Now I'm creating it soon as an app. However, it got set aside as I went in and I became a mom. Now my daughters are in their 20s and successful, and I'm so proud of them. And now it's kind of come back to, what am I going to do? So in 2020, or 2019, I discovered that Joyminder was still available. There's more to that story someday, but I said, what am I going to do with this now? Because with all that in between 20 years, I really fell in love with business and entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with Yellow Pages. Oh, hey, look at this. This is fun. Yellow Book, Yellow Pages. Look at this cute little thing. Remember these?
Oh, yes.
But I talked to hundreds of business owners, including the ones I talked about before. And I loved hearing their stories, their passion. I thought, how can I help people step into entrepreneurship? And so that's really what Joyminder is about. People who are either stuck in a job that because of a decision they made when they were 20 years old to go into law or medicine or something that really doesn't today in their 40s, 50s, maybe only 30s, doesn't call to them. They're not happy. They're not living out what I said earlier, their purpose.
Right.
And they feel like, I've always thought I was supposed to be an entrepreneur. So they can come to joyminder.com, and that's their reminder to have joy. Download what I call the sailing system. And it's an acronym that goes from, setting your course all the way through launching. And the G stands for grow and go beyond. So that's kind of the nutshell. And then through that, and over the summer, I'm kind of doing some revamping there. So you can go there, you can get the download, you can establish where you are in the sailing system. And very soon, we're also going to point you in the direction of tools, coaches, services that can help you with the stage that you are at. I'm not a coach, but I'm the connector. I will help you navigate where you need to go to find the right resources you need for your business, for your dream, for your passion, for your purpose. And that's what Joyminder is about.
I love that. And I think I like that you say I'm not a coach, because not everybody needs the same coach. A lot of people want a coach, and I learned this from one of my coaches. When I said, he was a coach early in my real estate career. And then a few years in, I was like, I need a coach. And he's like, do you really? What do you need a coach for? What do you need a coach for? It's fine, and I did need a coach, but it's finding out specifically, what kind of a coach do you need?
Right. And so today, actually, I launched my summit, which I do several times a year usually. My next one will actually be in January. We're going to skip the September one this year, probably. And I have 7 different people that are coming in, mostly coaches, that are going to come in and just share some amazing wisdom for the various stages of the sailing system, because they're all different. Some want to work with the beginners. Some want to work with the people who are ready to grow and go beyond. So helping people identify, the coaches themselves as well, who do you want to serve? Who do you need to serve you? And making that connection. That's what I want to do. And I will actually be the first speaker on the summit this year, which I've never actually done before.
Well, okay, you will have to end with this. Tell us about the summit.
Yeah, it's go to joyminder.com/summit. That's the easiest thing. And there's also information, free tickets. It's only 90 minutes a day for 3 days this week, and then 1 bonus session next week. Over the course, 7 different speakers coming up. Like I said, not normally me, because I really love to just highlight and focus on others. This is just a special situation that I decided that I would take this one on.
Well, we will have all of the details for the summit, where you can buy LeAnn's book, everything about her, in the comments. LeAnn, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Lisa. This is just a joy, a blessing, really, to have met you. Oh. Happy to be here. I look forward to, we've got some other things in the works, maybe.
We have some other things in the works. So yes. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
We'll see you later.